Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Talking to us about Married at First Sight, Season 8, Episode 2, the UK version. Listen, it's crazy. I had to catch up with the last two episodes in a quick one, but this is crazy. So you just got a picture here of Ella and Nathaniel. Ella is a transgender woman, and Nathaniel is a pansexual man. He's happy to have sex with anybody. Sorry, apologies. Relationships with anybody included. And then you've got also the other couple, which we'll discuss today, which is Tom and Roz. They are the most awkwardest couple on the planet too. She comes from a farm background. He comes from a very posh, astute financial investor, I think, background. It's just looking a bit different. You know what I mean? It's looking a bit different. If anything, I thought that Tom should have probably been with Laura from episode 1 because that's a bit more posh, Chelsea boy kind of fact. But you know what? Experts said they know what they're doing. So we're going to talk about episode 2. But before we do and get deep into this episode, okay, before we get deep, I need you to do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe. You understand? Listen, we're trying to get to 100K before the end of the year, and I know we can do it. Yeah? I'm trying to do the impossible. I'm just wondering, baby, if we do the impossible. Okay, let me stop. But you know what I mean? We're trying to get to 100K before the end of the year, and you guys are going to help me do it. I need that plaque. It's been too long. I've been resting on my laurels and just chilling, but today we're coming correct. You understand what I'm saying to you? Don't forget also, you can join our membership as well. It's £1, $1, and you can join our membership lives every other Tuesday. And also, don't forget, too, that we have merchandise. Click down below. Listen, it's wintertime. Don't be missing out. Get your mineral gang out stuff out there, okay? All right. I know you see me in a suit and tie. I know you see my suit and tie. Let me show you a few things. Show you a few things. Show you a few things. Okay. All right. Listen, cool. Let's get back into this session. For those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated. Hold up. You know when the note is sweet. You know when the voice is sweet. All right, cool. Let's get into this. Boom. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's have a little play. Lovely stuff. Let's first talk about obviously a good brother and sister, Nathaniel and Ella. Ella being the transgender woman and Nathaniel being pansexual. Listen, they're very interesting from their backgrounds, right? Because he talks about how he never had a father. His father was missing, but mother passed away early. And so he had to be reared up by himself. He grew up around friends and family. He basically looked after his own self, basically, and has had to survive and fend for himself, which is crazy because, you know, at a young age, when you're having to do that, that really does affect you. That makes it very hard for you to be open and vulnerable with people. It makes it very difficult to really open yourself up to others and express your true thoughts and opinions and feelings. It also makes you very independent, meaning that you like to be on your own. You like to do things by yourself. You're not afraid of doing things by yourself. You're very comfortable. Now, some people do that, and some people go the complete opposite way. They become very anxious in the way they deal with people as well. So this depends on different people and what they like and what their nature is. But he grew up around his friends. And he's always said as well, one of the biggest things for him is that he majorly wants kids. Now, I don't know about y'all, but you ain't got a natural woman in this place. I don't know about y'all, but you ain't got a natural woman in this place. I'm not trying to be shady, I just want to be real. So if they've given him a transgender woman, I don't know how possible that's going to be, right? And I'm sure they can do, not even IVF, I'm sure they can, you know, adopt a child or, you know, get a surrogate in that particular case. But in terms of actually being a natural process of things, yeah, we're going to struggle in that area. So, you know, they're going to have to think about that. That may be a conversation that comes out later on. I know he's happy to be with a man or woman. To be honest, this would have had the same problem if he had a man. So if he was with a man, he had the same issue, which is that biologically the man cannot have kids. So how would they have done it? Would have been probably adoption or through someone being a surrogate, which again, for me, just breaks the natural protocols of laws, and that's just my personal opinion. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in this instance. We're just kind of highlighting certain things. But he said main thing for him is he wants stability, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he wants stability because what he's seen in his life is unstableness, because everything has come and it's gone. And I did feel for him. No father and mother. That's not a very stable environment to come from. And so I understand that he wants that stability in his life. Hold on, I'm looking good. I didn't realize how good this tie and shirt be looking. Y'all didn't tell me I look so good with the shirt and the tie. Let me tell you a few things. All right, cool. So it's really important, you know, that he has stability. And I'm guessing what's going to be a problem in their relationship is going to be the fact that Ella might be bringing a bit of instability. Ella might bring a bit of craziness. Ella might bring a bit of insecurity. That's going to destabilize this stability that he's requiring and wanting from a partner. So he's gonna have to look into that. Then we got Ella. Ella, obviously was a boy beforehand and went through the transformation, went through the transgender process, but she was also a full-time pretty much carer for her nan, which is what's been the issue as to why she hasn't been able to really date effectively as well. Well, I think it's fascinating because anybody who spends time looking after somebody, I really commend them, and I really do, because it takes energy, time, it takes a care, it takes a love, it takes a lot of things to be able to do this. And for me personally, I respect anybody who can look after a family member and their life is put on the back burner. Fair play, which means you've got a heart to help people. But but the way that you see this in a relationship may not play out the same way. Not saying that you're not gonna be caring, but you might want someone to care for you. And the problem that we have here is that going to be Nathaniel's position? Is he going to be able to want to care and protect and serve Ella, or will he want that from Ella because of what he's experienced in his childhood trauma too? That's another thing we have to talk about. Okay, the nanny's a little bit of a hot block right now, but it's all good. Okay, she used to be a makeup artist as well, which is pretty cool. And you know, the main thing is that she wanted to make her mum and dad proud, and said her dad was the biggest kind of inspiration because he really did support her through the journey of her going through her transformation. And her father was really opening his arms and trying to understand and be there for her. So I really did appreciate a father who can stand up in those moments, no matter whether he agrees or doesn't agree, he's able to stand up in those moments. And I respected that as well. And then said the reason why in dating, what happens is that guys want to keep it a secret when they date her. What kind of guys are you dating, please? Are you dating straight guys? More than likely, let's stop dating straight guys. Because they're using you, seemingly they're using it as a fetish. Right? Let's stop dating the straight guys. They seem to be using you as a fetish. All right? Like, it is what it is, but that's the reality of the truth. But that also, too, maybe coming down to your boundaries in terms of how you see yourself and how you present yourself and what boundaries you put in place. And so, therefore, your erosion of your worth and your esteem may be called into question. And that may be reason why you're attracting some of these users. You're attracting some of these users. You understand? So I'm going to be intrigued about Ella and Nathaniel, because let's be honest, you know, that's not going to be an easy situation to deal with. It's not going to be an easy thing to go through, because dealing with your various traumas, that's what's making me fearful. They've both got traumas that are going to have to be worked through. And that could be a very difficult place to be in when you're literally working through your trauma live. You know what I'm saying to you? Live.
Picked a more perfect person.
When I was promised, I will look after her, okay? I know, I promise.
We've got to dance.
Love that. All right, cool. Let's get on to the next couple. Let's talk about Tom and Roz. Man, they are so awkward. It's unbelievable. But she comes from a farmland. You know, she comes from a farm background, and she seems to keep it real simple, real easy. And I kind of liked it. You know, he himself comes from a different background. He comes from a more, well, he himself actually, sorry, he's in a financial aspect of banking. I think it was investments and stuff like that. You know, he reminds me a little bit of Mr. Ezra, you know what I mean, who plays Flash in the movies, Marvel, in DC, sorry. He kind of got that little bit of that look and that awkwardness, you know.
It's making me feel like a bit awkward around him.
What I'd quite like you to do is I'd quite like you to try and turn and give it a dip.
A dip?
A dip, yeah.
Ooh,
she said that he's quite awkward around her. He was like, she's quite awkward around me. They're both awkward. Let's talk about their backgrounds. Tom has been in an abusive relationship before. The person was literally telling them, you're too short, you're too this, you're too that. You know what? You got too much hair, you got this and that. Now, whenever you're in an abusive situation, you got to take stock. Why was I in that situation in the first place? Why did I allow myself to stay in that situation for so long? Why is it I attracted that particular person? You got to take accountability. I know people don't like to say it. Of course, people are abusive as it is, but we're not talking about kids here. We're talking about you being a grown-ass adult going into a grown-ass relationship. Why is it that person was abusing you? Or why is that person saw fit to try and abuse you? And why did it take so long for you to recognize and say, actually, I don't want to be in this situation. Let me exit. Right? So this is also a question of where your self-worth is and your esteem is again. How do you value yourself? What are your boundaries in this situation? Right? How do you see yourself? Right? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? You know what I mean? And do you know what a healthy relationship looks like? That's one of the questions I was asking myself about Tom. I said, did you know what relationship you look to be in? Like, your timidness could be an issue, because are you really timid, or are you just afraid of being able to speak up because well, that's timidness actually. Yeah. Being afraid to speak up. You know, where does that come from? Why are you afraid to speak up? Why are you afraid to lay down what you like, what you don't like? Why are you afraid to say, hey, I don't like this? Why are you afraid to be in a situation where you are having to fight back, or even be antagonistic, or even be in a situation where you are going to have to go through some combat, or go through a situation where there's going to be conflict and you're not going to avoid it? Why is it you're avoiding it? Is a question I was asking myself. And I said this started from young. We would love to know his background to get a better understanding. You know, but it's interesting that the experts wanted him to be with the other woman, Rozz, because they can empathize with each other's trauma. I was like, you want them to bond over trauma? Are you not all right? Are you all right? What the hell? You want them to bond over trauma? Now, it might be the editing that took some of the stuff out, what they said, but it's basically saying you want them to bond over. He's going to be able to sympathize. She's going to be able to sympathize with his situation. You want her to feel sympathy instead of her actually going, actually, I look at you and I like you. You want her to feel sympathy rather than her liking him? Come on, guys. Come on. This is not a healthy way to look at a relationship. Experts do better. I need you to look at the situation again and do better. Now, going back on to Rozz, she comes from a farm life. She has a close family. She's outgoing. She's very different to her sibling, because the sibling is a bit more quieter. She's a bit more outgoing. But everybody's married in her family, she said. And it's just left with her. And then she had a very crazy situation in her last relationship, because the man suddenly looked around and said, I don't want to do this anymore. He was talking about marriage, all of that, and suddenly they don't want to do it anymore. Now, there's probably more to the story that she ain't telling us and not letting us into, but nobody just gets on one day and goes, I don't want to be in this no more. There's something as a reason as to why they got to that place in the first place. So she says she's jokey and chatty, but she doesn't know. She thinks that it could be that jokiness is a cover-up for her lack of confidence, which we kind of see, because in the episode, the way that she's so awkward, the way she's so awkward with our brother Tom, and the way that Tom is so awkward with her, you can tell they don't have much experience of dealing with relationships in a particular way. You know what I mean? So when people are awkward with people and they're afraid of, you know, upsetting, or they're not really sure how to maneuver smoothly, yeah, there's gonna be some issues there, because clearly you're not sure how to get around people. You're not sure how to mingle in a particular way, right? You're afraid of the interactions. Okay, all right. So they're both a little bit awkward. You know, she said she's new to heartbreak, so she's a bit of a puppy dog. She's new to it. So is he, I think, as well. And he hadn't been dating for a few years because that situation, that relationship broke him down so much. These are two people that need healing. They don't need a relationship. They need healing. And now, if this doesn't go right, we know why. Because they need healing. They don't need a relationship. They need a healing. Okay, all right. They said her energy might open him up. I said, maybe if she can get past the awkwardness, but y'all put two people together. I wasn't really sure about this. But anyway, I don't want to talk much longer. I think I've expanded what I've said. Look, be honest with you, it's early doors. I'm waiting to see what happens. I don't know if they're going to make it either, right? I don't think Nathaniel and Ella are going to make it either at this point. At this rate, we could be seeing the swapping couples. Who knows how soon? Anyway, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. Don't forget, we're trying to get to 100K.